Welcome to the Literature Room Poetry Series, which is intended to handle figures of speech in the selected poems of the WAEC NECO UTME 2026-2030 literature syllabus. We begin with the poem She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron, who is a British poet and is known to be one of the romantic poets whose preoccupation is the appreciation of beauty and nature. In this poem, She Walks in Beauty, the central idea or preoccupation is the admiration of a female. Let us begin with a quick read of the poem. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. Though thus mellowed to that tender light which heaves to gown the days denies, one shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens over face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. We begin with the first figure of speech, which is simile, and this figure of speech employs the use of like and as in attributing one quality to another. In the lines, she walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, we find a situation where the poet persona refers to the lady's domineering presence. That is something that must be noticeable. It further attributes her beauty to the contrast of dark and light, something striking like stars in a cloudless sky at night. Hence, her contrasting features are as constant as the celestial, something that is outwardly, and the nocturnal. Now, it also makes reference to the night, which is dark, and the cloudless climes, which gives an idea of a mild climate, and the starry skies, which shows a sky that is full of stars in the night. Now, it gives an idea of steadiness, an idea of permanence, an idea of something that is awesome, and it gives a sense of mystery in the juxtapositioning of the opposites, light and darkness. And we have metaphor, which occurs when the qualities of one entity is described in the light of another. We have three examples of this. One is had half impaired the nameless grace in line 8. Here the poet persona portrays the lady as perfect to a point that she cannot be described in words. In the second example, we have which waves in every raven tress or softly lightens over her face from lines 9 to 10. Now, the idea in the preceding line is extended by detailed reference to the lady's physical appearance. It starts with the hair, which is her locks, that's the tress, that take a glossy jet black hue, which contrasts proportionately with a lightened hue that she's a paragon of black and white blend. Now, in the third example, where thoughts serenely sweet express, how pure, how dear their dwelling place. That is from lines 11 to 12. The lady is described as a repository of virtue. It makes reference to the clarity of thoughts, which is conjured in the expressions serenely sweet express and how pure, how dear. We also have hyperbole, which is a figure of speech that works on the principle of exaggeration. The first example is in line 6, which is which heaven to gown the days denies. It gives a sense of the honor which is overplayed to take on a divine quality that is depicted as part of the lady's ideal quality. Her blend does not shout, so to say. There is a harmony in the blend of darkness and light in the lady's beauty. Then we now go to the second one. Had half impaired the nameless grace. The lines capture her delicate physical balance by exaggerating how a slight change can or may cause a counterbalance in her visage. We have personification as one of the figures of speech that assigns human attributes to non-human entities or to inanimate objects. In this sense, it refers to a type of beauty, what heaven to gown the day denies in line 6. The personification is actually a type of metaphor. Here, heaven, which is non-human, is pictured as giving a uniquely balanced appearance to the lady. In the second example from lines 11 to 12, we have where thoughts really sweet express. Thoughts are abstract, is an abstract phenomenon, and it is humanized in terms of exhibiting the faculty of an eloquent speech. This means that the lady is an embodiment of clear thoughts and elegant speech. We then have parison, which is a rhetorical device that involves a parallel structure of adjacent phrases or clauses. It is used to achieve balance and emphasis. The first example is in stanza 1, where we have, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. The words dark, bright, aspect, and eyes describe a captivating blend of opposing qualities. Here, her beauty is a blend of darkness and brightness, which creates a sense of mystery. In stanza 2, we have one shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace. The line is an example of antithetical parison, which is a parallel balance that reenacts the delicate balance of the lady's beauty. We have parallelism, which is a rhetorical device that concerns the placement of expressions of similar structures for special effect or reinforcement. We find this in stanza 3. A mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. This instance of interchangeable parallelism conjures not only a sense of balance, but also the quintessential virtue of perfection represented by a mind devoid of arrogance, that is, a mind at peace. The first line connotes a divine presence that is considerate to those below her social status. The second line emphasizes the lady's inner beauty, purity, and uprightness, that is, a love that is sincere. Now we have synecdoche, which means a figure of speech that represents a part to whole or whole to part relationship. We have this in stanza 3, a heart whose love is innocent. Now, the logic is found in the image of the heart to represent the whole human who is seen to have the virtue of true love, meaning one that has no ulterior motives. Now, in stanza 1, we have meat in her aspect and her eyes. In trying to give a vivid portrayal of the physical attributes of the woman, the poet employs two words, aspect, which means face, and eyes, to depict the balance of beauty to the minutest details. That means everything is considered from the general to be specific in this sense. Make it to the next literature room series. Bye.